Hello to everyone, and welcome back once again into your channel. So today I'm going to be looking at menstrual cycle, life sciences, biology. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to be looking at menstrual cycle. Okay, I'm going to make this lesson very quick as much as possible. Okay. So I'm going to be looking at vital concepts. Okay, on menstrual cycle. What do you have to know in order for you to answer effectively in your exams? Okay, yes, paper 1, life sciences. Okay, so grade 12, the menstrual cycle is composed of two sub processes or cycles, I can say, which is the ovarian cycle. What happens in the ovaries? You can see we have, I try to draw, not good at drawing, so sorry guys. Try to draw the female reproductive organ here, or the system. So we have the ovary there. So I said in menstrual cycle we have the ovarian cycle and the uterine cycle. So we have these two cycles and the menstrual cycle. Okay, don't forget them, the ovarian cycle as well as the uterine cycle. What do we talk about when we talk about the ovarian cycle? So ovarian cycle, these are the processes that occur, okay, under ovary during the menstrual cycle. And in the uterus, what happens in the uterus? For instance, in the uterus, we have the menstruation that occurs, or the breaking down of the endometrium wall, which leads to bleeding. That's why we call it menstruation, okay? Yes, so that's the process that occurs under the uterine inner lining, which is the endometrium, okay? For example, in the uterine cycle, okay? Yes, so we're going to look deeper and deeper, don't worry, about these cycles, okay, and these subcycles. Okay, so the menstrual cycle starts from day 1 to day 28. Okay, yes, take 28 days in a normal female. Okay, but it differs into other females. It can take less than 28 days or more than 28 days, which is said to be abnormal, but it's okay, it's natural. Okay, yes, so let's look deeper. Okay, so we also have flop. Okay, flop, these are the hormones, very important, vital hormones that you have to understand, or you have to know. It's a must for you to know these hormones. Flop, I wrote flop, okay, because flop makes a term or makes a word so that you can remember. Okay, yes, when you talk about flop, each and every letter there stands for the name of a hormone. So let's start it with F. F is the follicle stimulating hormone, which is said to be as FSH in the abbreviation form. So the L is the luteinizing hormone, which is also known as LH. O is the estrogen, okay, and P is the progesterone. Okay, so the other thing that you have to know in these hormones, who is the origination, where they originate, because they originate in different areas in a human body or in a female body specifically. So these are the female hormones, guys. Okay, yes, so please don't confuse the male and female hormones, okay, because in the male hormones, if I remember, we talk about the testosterone and other hormones, few hormones, okay, yes, but these are the females. We're focusing on female because menstrual cycles occurs on females. That's why you have male reproductive organ here, okay, or the system. So they originate from different areas in a female body. So FSH, where does FSH come from? FSH, which is the follicle stimulating hormone, comes from the hypophysis in the specifically in the pituitary gland. Okay, yes, the luteinizing hormone. The luteinizing hormone also comes from what? From the hypophysis in the pituitary gland. The estrogen as well as the progesterone, they come from the ovary. Okay, yes, mean that they are produced by the estrogen is being produced by the follicle, developed follicle, which is known as Graafian follicle. The progesterone by the corpus luteum, a broken or a damaged follicle after day 14. Okay, but we're going to discuss that, don't worry. Yeah, so the function Okay, I think I should explain the function when explaining the menstrual cycle or now. Okay, let me explain now the function. So the function of FSH is to stimulate the what? The growth of a follicle. You can even hear the meaning from the word follicle stimulating hormone, meaning that this hormone is stimulating the follicle to grow inside the what? Inside the ovary. Okay, it stimulates it. Okay, yes. So as you know that it is released in the hypophysis, fundamentally in the pituitary gland. Okay, so that it can inhibits. It can stimulate the growth of the follicle. So sorry. So that's how it goes. So let's move to the luteinizing hormone. The luteinizing hormone is responsible for stimulating the ovulation day or the ovulation at day 14. You know, I think you know. Yeah, but we're going to discuss that. Don't worry. So let's move to the estrogen. The estrogen is being secreted by the Graafian follicle, and it does what? It does the same work as the progesterone. Okay, yes, which strengthen, make thicker, making glandular and vascular the endometrium wall, which is the inner lining of the uterus. Okay, so that the embryo can be well attached and protected and supplied with nutrients, blood, oxygenated blood, as well as excision, as well as other forms of supports. So let's move to the progesterone. Progesterone does the same work as estrogen, but the progesterone after day 14 kicks in. Okay, yes, which is the progesterone is secreted by the corpus luteum. Okay, yes, because the Graafian follicle which secretes the estrogen breaks at day 14 and it becomes the corpus luteum, no longer a follicle now, but the corpus luteum which secretes what? The progesterone, which does the same work as estrogen. I hope you get that, guys, because the reason I'm repeating this is for you to not confuse the estrogen and the progesterone. Okay, yes, because it does the same work but different hormones. Okay, so now let's start from day 1 to day 7. What happens from day 1 to day 7? So I'm going to be explaining day 1 to day 7, day 7 to day 14, day 14, which is the ovulation day. After day 14, which is maybe day 15 to day 21, 22, and after day 21 to day 28. Okay, explaining or unpacking to you what happens in the ovary and what happens in the uterus. Okay, yes, in the uterus, I mean. So from day 1 to day 7, okay, let's start in the ovary. The new follicle develops. Okay, from day 1 to day 7, the new follicle develops. Okay, by being impacted by or because of the secretion of the FSH from the pituitary gland. Okay, yes, so the pituitary gland does what? Secretes the FSH, which is going to stimulate the follicle in the ovary so that it can grow. Okay, yes, so that's what happens from day 1 to day 7. Okay, in the ovary. And in this day 1 to day 7, what happens in the endometrium wall? Okay, guys, so this is the endometrium wall, right? And this is the ovary, as you can see. Okay, so in the endometrium wall from day 1 to day 7, there is the process that we call menstruation, the breaking down of the inner lining of the uterus, which is the endometrium wall. Okay, the peeling off of the membrane of the inner lining of the endometrium wall or the uterus. Okay, yes, so which leads to bleeding and. Okay, yes, so from day 1 to day 7, there's that breaking down, the menstruation process. Okay, this is whereby female will feel like on periods and so on. Okay, let's move. I hope you understood between these two processes what happens from day 1 to day 7. So from day 7 to day 14, no, to day 13, okay, just before, because day 14 is fundamentally ovulation day, the release of the egg. So from day 7 to day 13, just before day 14, what happens in the ovary and what happens in the uterine lining, okay, the uterus or the endometrium wall, let me be specific. So from day 7, you know that there was a secretion of what? Of the FSH, which is going to stimulates the development of the follicle, meaning that at least now after day 7 to day 13 around, okay, between those days 7, between day 7 to day 14, between these days the follicle is growing. You know that when the follicle is growing, it becomes a matured follicle, which is known as the Graafian follicle, which is going to secrete what? The estrogen, as I told you, right? Yes. So the estrogen prepares now back again the what? The endometrium wall to become more thicker, more vascular, and more glandular, to be strengthened. Okay, to be specific. Yes. So that it can be ready to carry the baby or to carry the embryo. Okay. Yes. So that's what happens in the ovary, in the uterus between those days. Okay. Yes. I think I've explained what happens in the ovary from day 7 to day 14, whereby the Graafian follicle secretes the what? The estrogen, making it this estrogen makes the endometrium wall more glandular, more vascular, and more strengthened. Okay? Yes. So I hope you can understand, guys. Let's move to day 14 right now. So what happens to day 14? At day 14, this is the ovulation day. What's the ovulation day? Or ovulation? This is the release of the egg, the fundamental or the important, one of the important processes that occurs on the menstrual cycle is the ovulation day. Okay? Yes, so sorry. So, in ovulation day, this is the release of the ovum. Okay? Yes. You know that the ovum is a haploid cell, right? Yes. Meaning that it's ready now to be fertilized by the sperm. Okay? By the female, by the male sperm. Okay? Yes. It's being released now. So when being released, you know that the Graafian follicle, which carries this egg, that's at the edge of the uterus. I'm so sorry, of the ovary. So sorry, of the ovary. It bursts. Okay? Yes. When it bursts, it releases this ovum, okay, which it was carrying before. So now, look, the Graafian follicle has burst, meaning that there will be no estrogen that is going to be secreted because there is no longer a Graafian follicle. Now we have the corpus luteum. Okay, yes. After being damaged, that Graafian follicle releasing that egg, we have the what? The corpus luteum, which secretes what? The progesterone. So meaning that this is the day 14. So day 14 is being stimulated by the luteinizing hormone, right? I told you before. So the luteinizing hormone is the hormone that is responsible for ovulation day. So meaning that even in your graphs, in your questions, there will be high levels of luteinizing hormone on day 14, for example. Okay, hope you get me. So after day 14, which is day 15 to 21, around day 21 and 22. So between those day 15 to day 21, 22, what happens? Now, we no longer having the Graafian follicle, we have a corpus luteum. This corpus luteum secretes or releases what? Progesterone, okay? Which make the endometrium wall to become even more vascular, more glandular, more strengthened, and more stronger. Okay? Yes. So this progesterone does that, which is being secreted by the corpus luteum. So that's what happens in the ovary and in the uterus lining. This is what happens. So you know that the progesterone does the same work as the estrogen, meaning that, as I told you, making it more vascular, more glandular, and more strength, like to be more stronger, right? The endometrium wall. So after day 21, which is around day 22, until the last day, which is 28, what happens? Okay, so if the egg that was being released, or the ovum that was being released on day 14, okay, between these days, day 22 to day 28, if it's not fertilized by the male haploid cell, this basically means that, which is the sperm. Okay, yes. So this basically means that there will be if it is not fertilized, so the egg, if it is not fertilized, what is going to happen? The egg is going to degenerate. Okay, yes, mean that it's going to degenerate, and meaning that the process is going to go on and on, meaning that the FSH is now going, meaning that the luteinizing, the corpus luteum, okay, the corpus luteum is going to shrink and degenerate, okay, and stops secreting the progesterone. If it stops secreting the progesterone, the follicle stimulating hormone kicks in, okay, yes, to stimulate the growth of the follicle again, okay, yes, meaning that there will be this menstruation process that is going to happen, meaning that there will be peeling off of the endometrium wall, okay, because the progesterone is no longer there, because the luteinizing hormone that was secreting this progesterone is no longer there. It has shrunken, or it shrinks and degenerated, okay, yes, that's how it goes. So if there is no progesterone, meaning that there will be no maintenance in the endometrium wall, that is going to lead to endometrium wall that is weaker, peeling off, which leads to bleeding, which is called the menstruation, okay, yes. So yes, so from day 22 to day 20, that happens, okay, in both areas, which is the ovary as well as the uterus. That's how it goes. But if there is fertilization occurred, meaning that there was a sperm that was sent to the fallopian tubes to meet the what? To meet the ovary, to meet the ovum, okay? Yes. So mean that there will be two haploid cells that are going to diffuse, okay? Which is fertilization process is going to take place and form a what? A diploid cell, okay? Yes. So this diploid cell is going to be a zygote, right? Yes. So it is going to be after a morula and a blastocyst. It's going to be implanted here, okay? Yes, because the reason why they are changing now is because of the mitosis, but I'm going to touch on those fundamental concepts on the other day, guys, okay? I'm going to create a special video on the genesis of these, okay? Yes. So that's what it goes. So if there is fertilization that occurs, meaning that the corpus luteum is not going to shrink, it's not going to degenerate. It's going to continue secreting this progesterone to maintain and making the endometrium wall to become more thicker, more glandular, more vascular, and okay, so that it can be maintained and stronger to carry the baby, okay? Yes. The other thing that you have to know, yes, so meaning that there will be no FSH that is going to be secreted. If there is a progesterone secreted by the corpus luteum, there will be no FSH. We call that a negative feedback, but we won't touch on maybe on the other day, but let's touch on it today. So the negative feedback, this is whereby the release or an increase in the other hormone, okay, or an increased hormone will inhibit the secretion of the other hormone, meaning that if ever there are more levels of progesterone, there will be low levels, or there will be no FSH that is going to be secreted, because if ever the FSH is secreted during pregnancy, because this egg is being fertilized now and being attached here, meaning that the woman or the female is pregnant. That's the reason why there is no menstruation occurring during pregnancy, because the FSH is not stimulating the hormone, so that you can restart the process from day one again up until the ovulation and an end, okay? Yes, which leads to the bleeding of the endometrium wall. That's it. So please bear in mind that an increase in progesterone is a decrease in the FSH. That's how it goes. I hope you learned something, guys. We're going to do more questions and more question papers when I have time. I'll try to help you as much as possible, guys. Yes, that's how it goes. Please don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.